to the 2023 Candidate Forum hosted by your El Dorado Chamber of Commerce. I'm Phil Benedict, the Executive Director of the Chamber and moderator for tonight's forum. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight, either tuning in or listening here live to our candidates respond to specific questions about our city. The candidates have not received any of the questions in advance, only the topics which we will be covering. Those topics include promotion of the lake and recreational facilities, historical building preservation, strategies for economic development, strategies, ideas to facilitate new housing, thoughts on the changes to the 1-cent sales tax, and priorities of the city. I want to thank Linda Baines from the Sun Group and the Chamber Ambassadors for helping with tonight's program. This year we have 3 local positions on the ballot for the City Commission. They are for the Mayor of El Dorado, Position 2 in the Commission, and Position 5. Position 2 is the only contested position, but we will be hearing from Mayor Young and Commissioner Wilkinson during the opening statements. That will be followed by questions for the contested Position 2 between incumbent Greg Lewis and challenger Sydnee Scribner. Sydnee has been called away on a family matter, but we have videotaped her responses earlier. That's the same questions that I'll be asking Greg. Both of those respondents for both candidates will be on the Chamber website in the next few days. We also have 2 seats on the Butler Board of Trustees being contested, the District 3 seat and the at-large seat. Both of these seats are contested, will be on the ballot, and we have all 4 candidates here tonight. Here are the rules for tonight's forum. We'll have several rounds of questions. I will ask the contestants questions, and they have 3 minutes to provide their answer. Our timekeeper will hold up a sign indicating there's 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and then when their time is up. The candidate will immediately end his or her comments when their time is up. I'll ask that the candidates please address their comments and answers to the audience and not to each other. After the formal Q&A is over, candidates will be available to speak with individuals informally around the room as time permits, so that you can ask additional questions and they can take them from our citizens. Each candidate for City Commission will be asked to provide an opening statement, and in that statement, they will tell us about their qualifications, their background, what city committees they've been a part of, and what volunteers positions they've had around our city, and why they want to serve in their capacity. Also, the candidates for the Board of Trustees will be asked to provide an opening statement, and in that statement, they will tell us their qualifications and background, any relevant committees they've been a part of in the past, or volunteer positions related to Butler Community College, and why they want to serve on the Board of Trustees. With that, I'd like to introduce our incumbent Mayor, Bill Young, and incumbent Commissioner Kendra Wilkinson. With that, Mayor Young, would you please open with your statement?
Thanks, Phil and Linda, and of course the Chamber for putting this together tonight. To tell you all a little bit about me, my name is Bill Young, and I'm the current mayor of our great city of El Dorado. I moved to El Dorado about 30 years ago, and I've lived here ever since. I graduated from El Dorado High School, went to Butler and Wichita State before beginning my career in technology. And then 12 years ago, I came back to go to work at Butler Community College as their Vice President of Technology. Folks, I've been really blessed in my life. 26 years ago today, I married my beautiful wife, Daisha, and together we raised our daughter, Annalise, and instilled in her the values of character, community, and service. And this December, she'll graduate from Texas Christian University, and in January, she'll begin her career as an officer in the United States Army, and we couldn't be prouder of her and her desire to serve the country. El Dorado is a very special place. Throughout my 26-year career in technology and leadership, I've traveled all over the country. And I visited all sorts of towns, big and small, and let me tell you, the reason El Dorado is special is because we value hard work, we value family, and we value community. Today I want to talk about the 3 areas that have guided my time as mayor and will continue to be my focus for the future: economic development, quality of life, and public safety. We made big strides in promoting economic growth and opportunity here in El Dorado. Our town has seen new businesses open their doors, creating jobs and helping our economy. But the work isn't done. We have to continue to attract new investments and support our existing businesses. Our commitment to business-friendly environment has been the foundation of our success, and I pledge to continue championing these principles. Quality of life is something that impacts all of us. El Dorado is not just a place to live, it's a place where families can grow and dreams can come true. Trust me. We've invested in our parks and recreation, our streets, and our infrastructure to ensure that all of our citizens have access to services and amenities. From maintaining our roads to recreational opportunities, we will continue to work tirelessly to make El Dorado a great place to call home. And one of our top priorities has always been the safety and well-being of our citizens. Our first responders and public safety personnel are the backbone of our community. We have invested in training and equipment and resources to ensure that they can do their job safely and effectively. And as we forge ahead, I will remain committed to supporting our law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency responders. They're there for us when we need them, and so we need to be there for them as well. It's also essential to recognize the hard work and dedication of our city employees. These are the folks that work tirelessly behind the scenes every day, making El Dorado a great place to live and work. All our public servants deserve our support, our gratitude, and our respect. Friends, I ask for your vote and support once again. Our future is bright and we're on the right path, but there's more we can do. Let's all work together to make El Dorado the best place there is to live, work, and to raise a family. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Young, and happy anniversary.
Thank you. And happy anniversary, Commissioner.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Well, I kind of took a different approach to this. One, I don't have my tablet in front of me. I did it the old-fashioned way, typed it out on a sheet of paper. I also want to thank Phil and the Chamber for hosting this forum and inviting me to say a few words. They gave me 2 to 3 minutes. I'm Kendra Wilkinson, born and raised in El Dorado, graduate of EHS, graduate of Butler County Community College, as it was in my day, Pitt State, and also Emporia State. My second term will end at the end of this year, and I will then begin my third term. As I stated when I first ran for office, I'm a 4th generation El Doradoan. My children and my grandchildren now live in El Dorado, which I am blessed for. So that makes 6 generations of my family that have lived and grown up in El Dorado. This is our home. This is where our hearts are, and anything I can do as commissioner to make life better is important to me. It has been a privilege and honor to serve the city for the last 8 years, and I look forward to 4 more. As some of you may know, I'm a retired educator, and I believe in lifelong learning. Being your commissioner has definitely been an education. I discovered that sitting in the audience or watching on Channel 7, I usually had an opinion on the matter being discussed, and I often wondered why they voted the way they did. Well, after being elected, I quickly discovered why. Making a decision had to be based on ordinances, regulation, statutes, state law, and for examination of the facts, both pro and con. Flip pages. We have work sessions in which for consideration are discussed, questions asked, and sometimes asking for additional information from the city manager and or department heads who are also present in our work session. These meetings are open to the public. Here's my lifelong learning thing. Come hear the information provided to us, the questions we ask for clarification, and the additional information we seek to make the right decision. This is your city also, and your involvement includes learning the facts and calling and talking to the commissioners. We welcome your input, we really do. Your questions, your concerns, and your requests for additional information. Something else I learned as a commissioner is the involvement of our city staff in our community after their workday ends. They volunteer to coach. They volunteer to help with city activities. They volunteer in their churches and the organizations they belong to. They are also involved in making this community a city to be proud of and to live in. I look forward to serving this community. my community, your community, for another 4 years. Thank you.
For position 2 on the City Commission, Incumbent Greg Lewis and candidate Sydnee Scribner. As I indicated earlier, Sydnee's responses have been recorded and will be available on the Chamber website in the next few days, along with Greg's. I want to remind everyone that the candidates have not been given any of the questions, only the topics. Commissioner Lewis, welcome. You have 3 minutes for your opening statement before we start the questions.
First of all, I'm used to 5 people sitting up here, so it's kind of got me nervous sitting up here by myself. And here we go. Hello, I am El Dorado City Commissioner Greg Lewis, and everybody calls me Greg. I am a family man, a husband, a father, and a grandfather. I am a two-term elected official as El Dorado City Commissioner. I serve at the pleasure of the people of El Dorado who have voted for me. As an elected official, I serve at their voice. I am a member of the El Dorado Chamber of Commerce, and I'm on the board of directors for El Dorado Week. I serve on the El Dorado Week Housing Committee, and as a commissioner, I am a member of the 254 Advisory Board. I was a member of the El Dorado Facilities Authorization or Authority of Butler County, which is the BG Stadium board. I am a member of the I was a member of the El Dorado Planning Commission for a 2-year term before I became a city commissioner. I have an interest in El Dorado Main Street too, and I'm committed to see the success and thrive of Main Street because it is the glue of this community. I was the only commissioner that stood up for the Main Street in the commission chamber when the rest of the city commissioners sat in their chairs. I'm a past board member of the Unified District 490 Partners in Education. I hold an associate's degree from Butler County Community College and a Bachelor of Science degree from Friends University. Me and my wife, Larissa, reside in El Dorado and have a son, David, and a daughter, Alicia. David and his wife, Nikki, reside in El Dorado too. Alicia and her husband, U.S. Army Sergeant Bryson Bohannon, they reside in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. My wife and I have 4 grandsons, Quentin Lewis, Callan Lewis, Bentley Bohannon, and Rowan Lewis. We are members of the First Christian Church in El Dorado, and I have been employed for the past 27 years as plant manager for Ergon Asphalt Emulsion here in El Dorado. My wife and I, we're avid Kansas City Chiefs fans and Chicago Cub fans, and we travel because we're season ticket holders to all the games. Also, as a city commissioner, I would like to say thank you to the citizens of El Dorado for electing me to represent them as a city chamber, our city commissioner for seat 2 for the past 2 terms, and have been on a crash course of the city of El Dorado government 101. I have gained knowledge about the challenges the city faces in the future. I feel that city staff and the city planning commissioners are the key to do the due diligence for the El Dorado Commission. The volunteer board members who make up the city boards also do fine work for the city. As commissioner, I'm an avid supporter for the safety of the citizens of El Dorado. I'm proud of our police and fire officers. I am passionate about the city employees and they do their job and what they do for their jobs for the citizens. I try to listen to the people of El Dorado. Am I done?
Okay,
3 minutes was up.
Greg, here's question number 1. Next month, voters will decide on whether to renew the 1-cent sales tax, which has been in existence since 1989, to either make it permanent or continue to renew it every 5 years. What do you see as the advantages of making this tax continuous rather than having to renew it every 5 years?
I think the advantages of making it permanent, it allows the city to use the funds in what it needs that are appropriate for the city. we can do the things that, we wanna do for our parks. That's mainly where most of that money goes, and what we wanna do for our roads. And it also helps for tax reduction.
Okay. What strategies do you believe should be adopted to attract new businesses to El Dorado? Please comment on what types of new businesses should be focused on to come to El Dorado.
Well, El Dorado is a large water community, so we have a vast amount of water. We have El Dorado Inc., which is our key player in the roles to bring businesses to El Dorado. We need to look for companies to come to El Dorado that use large amount of water, that are environmentally friendly to the community. We have a vast amount of industrial parkland out there that we have available, and large companies have come and looked at El Dorado, like Panasonic, Toyota, and also, what was the other one? Anyway, Tesla. They all looked at El Dorado, and El Dorado was in the top 5 of 2 of the companies, which made El Dorado kind of boost to the top. But, that showed the people of El Dorado and Wichita that El Dorado is a challenging place. And so I think the opportunities in El Dorado are good for companies, and we're gonna eventually see something big come into El Dorado.
Okay. What strategies should be developed to facilitate new housing, to bring new families and workers to El Dorado? And how does this impact our long-term economic development goals?
Well, there are tools out there that the city of El Dorado needs to look into, like the rural housing incentive district and the community development block grants that are out there, moderate income home housing, affordable housing programs, homes for rental and development program, and federal, state, local housing income or housing tax credits. El Dorado, when you talk to the people here in town, they want to find something that they can live in. And 17.2% of the people in this town are in poverty, and 60% of these people live in El Dorado. They own their homes, and 40% don't. So what we're looking for is, they ask, can I find something that's in $130,000 to $180,000 range? Well, it will be tough to find something like that here in El Dorado. And so we end up winding up with $200,000 to $250,000 homes. Well, the people look at that and they say, well, I can get that in Andover, and Andover's got a lot more amenities than El Dorado does, so we have to compete with Andover for that. So what we need to do is bring in large industries so we can have the people want to move to El Dorado and live in our houses.
Okay, good. Historical building preservation is something I'd like to hear your thoughts on. We have seen some of our old historic buildings be put to good use and help to attract new or existing businesses. But at what point do we condemn a dangerous building versus seeking a buyer to purchase and renovate those structures? How can we prevent the decay of our buildings in the downtown district?
Well, one thing we need to know about for our Main Street here in El Dorado, our Main Street is a historical district. And not just a Main Street, it's an historical district. So anything we do downtown has to be within their guidelines. And it goes all the way up to the federal level on that. And you can get 20% incentives for doing that from the federal government for doing that. But that comes at a cost. And if you go into it and you think you're gonna rebuild a building downtown, and you don't have an architect, and you don't have a contractor, you're gonna lose. You need to have your architect, you need to have your contractor in place before you make plans on doing anything and going before the city to see about doing something downtown in those buildings. I am for, celebration of the downtown village because of the glue of this town. But there's some of them down there that do need to be taken down. But I do not want to see the Masonic building. I do not want to see anything in there happen to them. A lot of people compare El Dorado with Augusta. And you can go down to Augusta's Main Street and it's dry. Everything is full down there. People are going down there. But that's a district. That's a main street. El Dorado is an historical district. So things are moving a little bit slower in El Dorado. And we will eventually get there.
Along those same lines, what can be done to improve South Main Street in our downtown district?
I think you want to talk about downtown or further south?
South of Central.
South of Central. First of all, I think they need to come into town and put a roundabout right there at the southwest traffic way that will shove the truck traffic off to the trailer park and onto the street that it's supposed to be on. Or they could go towards the refinery like they're supposed to. And then that will clear up downtown so we can go in there and we can revitalize some of that stuff that's down that area. There are several buildings down there that they don't even have the titles to those buildings. They don't know who they belong to. And we need to research that and get that done too. And it's just that we also need to work on the drainage down there because it floods down there. And a lot of people don't like to be down there because it floods on heavy rains. So we need to work on that and get that drainage all taken care of down there.
Okay. Besides the improvements that are already funded, what capital projects are needed here in the city of El Dorado? What do you believe are the highest priorities for the city commission that the city commission should be addressing?
But right now, there are some of the priorities. Are you talking about downtown or are you talking about the rest of the
All of El
city?
Dorado.
Okay, we want to look at infrastructure, K254 project. We want to make sure we're not left out on that because it is a big project and it's going to take El Dorado all the way to the west side to Goddard by the time it's done. And we want to be a part of that. We need to look at that intersection of Boyer Road and the Turnpike and make sure that that's done correctly where it's safe. They're going to be working on the Central Avenue stormwater project. We also need to look at Main Street and figure out how we can drain Main Street so it doesn't flood the buildings like what happened in Sunburns and flood their basement. And they're also working on the Constant Creek sewers along the west side. So in case we land one of those large developments out there in Industrial Park, it has enough capacity to handle what's out there. We need to work on the quality of life in this town and the image of this town. We're not new, we're old. And when people come to Augusta or to El Dorado, they see old. They go to Andover, they see new because Andover's only 50 years old. El Dorado is, it's quite a bit over 125 years. So we need to go in and revitalize our housing here in town. Parks and recreation, we need to go up there in the village out there, and we need to put in a pad out there, a water park, and a new park out there. But that one's gonna have to be unique, because it's gonna have to be handicapped, because there's a lot of handicap that live in that area where that park's gonna go into. We also need to enhance our public safety here in El Dorado. Also, we need to promote the lake. We don't own the lake, but we need to keep promoting it, because that's our draw. It brought in 1.6 million people last year. That's a lot of people to El Dorado. And they come in here, they go to our Walmart, they go to our Bills, and they go to our fast food restaurants. So we need to do a large promotion of that. We don't need to annex it, we just need to promote it.
Okay. Commissioner, in your closing statements, will you tell us about the role of a commissioner and in your mind how you will serve in that role?
Sure. Sorry, I'm finally feeling comfortable. As a commissioner, there's a lot of things that need to be done in this town. You know, when I first became a commissioner, the people that come to me, they said, we want to see progress. That's one thing that's missing in El Dorado is progress, putting the people to work. Well, we had COVID happen in the middle of it, you know, and it made it kind of hard about that. But we are seeing progress happen in this town. We're seeing a lot of new businesses come into this town. You know, we got new Warsons. We're getting a new hardware store. Other things that have been in this town have been remodeling themselves and making themselves newer. In the industrial park, we got you know, most of all BG Products is out there. Their warehouses and all that stuff bring jobs into El Dorado. We got a nice football stadium. We just need to figure out how to get the city and the 2 school districts and the college work together as one. Because right now, everybody is wanting a swimming pool, and that's the biggest thing. And that's gonna be quite a bit of expense on the community just to build a swimming pool. So it's gonna take 4 of us together to get this done. And because the city of El Dorado, the people of El Dorado cannot afford to take it on themselves.
Okay. Commissioner Lewis, thank you very, very much for your answers and your comments, along with Sydnee Scribner's. Greg, well done. Thank you very much. With us this evening are candidates for the Butler Board of Trustees for District 3, as well as for the at-large seat. For District 3, the incumbent Forrest Rhodes, welcome, and the challenger David Powell, welcome. For the at-large countywide seat, incumbent Mary Martha Good, welcome, and challenger George Fox, welcome. The candidates, again, have not received any of the questions in advance, only the topics which will be covered. Those topics included measuring student success, academic standards, the value of the college, student life in El Dorado and Butler County, the future vision for the college, and board collaboration. You each will have 3 minutes for your opening statements. Forrest, we'll begin with you.
Okay, thank you. I jotted notes down and then didn't think about jotting notes for the background. So thank you to the Chamber for this opportunity to kind of present in front of everybody. My name is Forrest Rhodes. I'm the current trustee for District 3 for the college. I'm also the current chair of the Board of Trustees. I've been in that role for the last 2 years. I consider myself from Kansas, went to high school about an hour and a half east of here, graduated, went to the University of Kansas, spent 6 years in the Navy after graduating from Kansas, came back to go to law school at KU, stayed in the reserves for a couple years, and then transitioned into professional life with a firm in Wichita as a labor and employment attorney, and that's what brought me to El Dorado. A close friend of mine from high school had already lived here and talked me up on the El Dorado and Butler County communities and relocated here in 2000, and I've been here since. Started to get active in the community. We were raising kids at the time. Both of them happened to attend Butler also, but started to get active in the community soon after I arrived. I joined the advisory board of the YMCA after it opened. I was active in the grant allocations process for the USD 490 Partners in Education group for several years, and moved on to the board of directors for the Butler Community College Foundation back in around 2014 or so. And I have always had sort of a love for Butler from just being in the community, and it really took hold when I got into the foundation. I grew up, both my parents were educated. Going to school in some form after high school was never a question for our family. I knew that was something I was going to do. It was sort of ingrained. And I came here and got connected with the college and realized at the time that about a third of the students at Butler were first-time college students out of their families. And kind of realized that resonated with me, the importance that Butler provides, not only to the community, and we'll have a chance to talk about that as we go tonight, but to those individual students, a lot of whom are coming from Butler County, that kind of set my love for the college. And after serving on the foundation board for several years, I was board chair for 1 year and then ran in 2020 for the trustee role and was elected, and that's where I am now. The college is at a significant turning point, I think, in this election, and there is a group that has a different view of where the college needs to go, and they see a footprint of a college that's entirely different than where I see it and where it is right now. And that's the reason I am running again, is because I want to see Butler continue to thrive as it has, continue to grow smartly, and continue to serve the county and our students. Thank you, I would appreciate your vote.
Thanks, Forrest. Mr. Powell?
I'm David Powell, and I'm running for the trustee position in District 3. I want to thank the Chamber for putting this together. I was not born here in El Dorado, but I have a long history with the town. My grandfather actually worked on the first oil well that existed in El Dorado. I'm proud to have been honorably discharged from the Air Force in 1968. I taught high school math, coached for 10 years, coached many sports out of El Dorado, and I started a swim team there. I stayed on as a swimming coach, assistant swimming coach, and diving coach for 35 years after leaving teaching. While I was a teacher, I was a chairman of several teacher negotiations committees in several schools that I taught in, so I am an advocate for the teachers. I have been involved as Red Cross as a volunteer for many years. I served as chapter chairman of the Blue Stem chapter here in El Dorado for several years. I was also disaster chairman in El Dorado during the Walnut River floods of the 70s and 80s. I'm a member of the Elks Club, as well as Post 81 of the American Legion here in town, and a chamber member. I am a longtime supporter of Butler Community College, having worked with Troy Morrow by hiring his football team to work for me several years during the off-season. I've owned my own business in El Dorado for 46 years. I bring vast business experience and fiscal responsibility to this realm for the trustees. Finally, I am endorsed by our own U.S. Senator from El Dorado, Dr. Roger Marshall. I'm running for a number of reasons, and among them are, number one, reducing property taxes. I don't want to get rid of the college, but I want to keep the college as a sustainable institution in this town. Taxes have stayed the same or gone up with a 27% drop in enrollment at the college. I believe we need to examine the direction the college is going, both academically and due to the decline in enrollment. I want to grow enrollment by looking at expanding vocational certifications out of the college and also by reducing the cost for our in-county, Butler County high school students and graduates. I want to stop with the attitude that if there's a problem, we'll just throw more money at it. The board actually, the majority did just that in the current budget. I'm not interested in cutting teaching staff, but we need to examine where cuts can be made. I want to do a deep dive into where those should be happening. Should it be staff, support, administration, or facilities? For the sake of keeping and growing the college, I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Mary Martha Good.
Good evening. Thank you, Phil, and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum tonight. I appreciate all of you here tonight and also those watching on TV. My name is Mary Martha Good. I am married to Kyle, who is retired from animal health sales. We have 2 wonderful children and grandchildren. Both of our children attended and graduated from Butler. I have been a career teacher in Butler County for over 30 years. In 1989, I started teaching children with disabilities in Benton, Towanda, and El Dorado. In 2003, I transferred to Skelly Elementary, where I began teaching kindergarten. After retiring in 2015, I ran for District 75, Kansas House of Representatives. I enjoyed serving in that capacity in my 2-year term. After serving, I began teaching psychology at Butler. And then I began teaching psychology for 2 years at Butler. During my 30-plus year teaching career, I was awarded with many local, state, and national teaching honors, including District 4 Kansas Teacher of the Year. In 2019, I ran for the at-large position at Butler Community College. I was elected, and in 2020 began serving my 4-year term. I am proud to run for re-election to keep our great community college going in the right direction. We have exceptional employees at Butler who deserve guidance from a quality board of trustees. I absolutely love the college mission statement: prepare students for a lifetime of success. When I walk through the campus or stop in the student union, it delights me to see students at the tables studying, conversing with one another, or playing games. Our role as a Butler Community College trustee is to provide oversight, set policy, approve budget, overarching approval of academic programs. As a trustee, I listen to information provided by administration who are responsible for day-to-day operation. Butler Community College is the largest employer in Butler County. We employ over 850 people. This total direct economic impact of Butler Community College is over $46 million. Now let's talk about jobs after leaving Butler with their associate degree or a certificate. You will have a job 100% of the time if you get a degree certificate in assisting accounting, auto tech, business, medical specialist, nursing, fire science, physician coding, and welding or welding technology. Thank you.
Mr. Bachman. All right, thank you, Chamber, for hosting this event. My name is George Bachman. I was born and raised in Kansas. I took a quick break from Kansas to go to school at Baylor in Texas. Got a degree in biochem pre-med. After college, I went into the Army, was stationed in Anchorage. The only exciting thing I did was got to go into a fun zone with Russian nerve gas and had a good time practicing how to operate in that type of environment, which in modern day news is interesting. After the Army, I worked in DC for the 4th Congressional District as a legislative assistant. Then I took over my family ranch 7 years ago. I run a cow-calf herd down Santa Fe Lake Road, Augusta. 2 years ago, I interviewed and became the executive director for the Kansas Truth Caucus. It's kind of like the Freedom Caucus at the national level, but state level and a little less crazy. It's 52 members. We worked with the chamber, the state level. Y'all's leadership up there is Alan Cobb and Eric Stafford. We worked together for property tax cuts for seniors and vets, which we got passed, and deregulation of various businesses, wineries and breweries. We also worked with the chamber this year to get the chamber approved single rate taxpayer system, but Governor vetoed that. I'm also endorsed by Kansans for Life. Why I want to run? I want Butler to thrive, and I think property tax hinders that. In the 7 years since I've gotten back from the Army and DC, I pay a lot more cabs and taxes every year. I want to raise and educate my children and have them stay here in Butler once they graduate. We're 20,000 people away from losing a congressional district in this state, and I'm tired of seeing my friends move away, and I want them to stay. More families, more businesses here in Butler. I think we can incentivize them for moving across the line into Butler with lowering taxes even further. We currently dissuade them from moving here by charging more property tax and charging them more on license plates. I want to grow private funding and decrease public funding. In support of that, my family's had an endowment at the community college for 20 years for ag scholarships. What I would do, I would increase transparency. I think a public college needs public books. I prioritize Butler children over any other county more than they currently are. And at the very least, keep property tax stable, if not lower. Thank you.
Thank you. Your first question for this evening, and Mr. Powell, we'll start with you. In your role as a trustee, how will you help ensure students will be successful, and how will that be measured?
Well, measuring student success is something that we need to examine very closely. Success is based on retention and persistency through completion. That's been a key performance indicator for years. Use of AI and the artificial intelligence can help with that. We have a diverse group of people going to Butler County. First generation students, underserved students, working adults, all require different resources to succeed. To tackle the issue, we need to define what a student success means to us based on our mission and student goals. And there are 5 common parts to that: retention rates, graduation rates, time to completion, academic performance, and tracking educational goals. For our purposes, I am proposing that we focus on the student's educational goal to be more indicative of the student's success. Maybe not an associate's degree. We're finding more and more kids today are looking more at the vocational aspects of things and wanting to be able to go to work right away without spending a couple of years in school. In the vocational area, retention is met upon certification. There's a reporting group that every college sends information to. The integrated post-secondary educational data system is maintained by the Department of Education in DC. By all measures, as reports come to them, it appears Butler County is community colleges in the middle of the road. 61% of the full-time first-year students in the area are considered retaining. But Butler County is failing in the graduation rate. We're sitting at 28%, in certification we're sitting at 1% according to their reports. That's down from 32% in 2014. That can and should be improved. So those searching for colleges to attend see this when they look online. That's not a good report to draw people to. I believe change is needed out at the college.
Mr. Rhodes, your comments on that question?
Can you repeat the question for me?
I can. In your role as a trustee, how will you help ensure students will be successful, and how will that be measured?
Okay, so our goal, the goal of the trustees is to oversee the college's administration. So we should be relying on the experts that we have at the college that have done higher ed all of their life to be helping to tackle those questions with oversight from the board. Now, in terms of those goals, scholarship opportunities are a huge thing. The students, college needs to be affordable. That's not just how we control tuition rates, but also what other funding opportunities are available for students. There's a critical analysis of course offerings that are available to students so that students can get the courses they need when they need them to stay on track towards their graduation goals. Alternative teaching mechanisms have been something that the college has embraced wonderfully since the pandemic, and it's now become a regular part of the college environment. When I say that, I mean, it used to be everybody showed up in class and you're there in person. Now remote learning is a huge thing, and some students want that. That's their goal, is they don't want to be in a classroom for their classes. They want to be able to sit at home, do it online, take a class on their own time schedule. I'll get the percentage wrong, it's a majority of Butler students are part-time. So they are working, they're parenting, they're doing something else for most of their time, and the college is there to provide an educational resource for them when when they have the time to take advantage of it. And being able to enhance those opportunities is certainly a goal that we want to continue to grow. Let's see here. Graduation rates, we do follow that. The college follows that right now. It's something that the board is made aware of. Graduation rates you have to recognize and put it in context though. Mr. Powell mentioned a percentage. What that percentage doesn't take into account is that part-time students often don't graduate on time because they don't finish their educational goal in 2 years or 3 years, which is what the metric says you should finish to be considered graduating on time. It doesn't mean that we aren't fulfilling the need that student has in terms of higher education, but it's not fitting within the paradigm that a particular reviewing entity might be looking at. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Bachman, in your view, or in your role as a trustee, how will you help ensure students will be successful, and how will that be measured?
Yeah, so I would agree with the board oversees the administration, and I would also agree that private scholarships are important to academic success and to students. On retention, completion, and graduation rates, I might have gone to college a little more recently than my fellow candidates. But when I was in school, it was getting the important things that mattered. It was getting the important things that mattered for your certification or for your degree. When it was pre-med, you had to go through and do certain courses. Prime example is physics used to be required for the MCAT. It's not anymore. So knocking out something important was a requirement, and it took some time, and I put it off till senior year. So I think that empowering students with scholarships and enabling them to focus on their core studies to get their certificate or their associate's degree is the key part. And as far as the board goes, the board oversees the administration. Thank you.
Very good. Mary Martha, do you need to repeat the question?
Please.
Very good. In your role as a trustee, how will you help ensure students will be successful, and how will that be measured?
Well, the success of our students really should be the reason we're all here tonight. Because of my last 4 years as a member of the Butler's Board of Trustees, along with the career spent in education at both the K-12 and community college levels, I understand more the significance of this topic in the context of our college's mission, which is to prepare students for lifetime success through affordable education. First and foremost, measuring student success is not a one-size-fits-all. We must recognize our students come from diverse backgrounds and have a wide range of goals and aspirations. Our approach to measuring success should be multifaceted and tailored to meet the unique needs of each student. Now, one measure of student success is retention rates, which means how well we keep them on campus and enrolled. Butler continues to monitor the number of students who continue their education from one semester to the next. With our retention rates steady or on the rise, we see that Butler students are engaged, satisfied with their educational experience, and progressing toward their goals. Another significant measurement is completion rates, which include the number of students who earn degrees, certificates, or transfer to four-year institutions. While not all students follow the same path, the Butler Board should strive to empower staff and faculty in their efforts to ensure that students who start their journey with us have clear pathways to achieving their outcomes. We should look at the success of our students in the job market. Are they finding gainful employment that aligns with their education and career goals? In fact, I recently had my knee replaced where I was hospitalized overnight. 10 days later, I contracted sepsis and was in St. Francis Hospital for 4 days. Every one of my nurses, except for one, graduated from Butler Community College nursing program. It was fantastic. Of course, my cheerleader, Kyle, was always in the room asking the same question: where did you go to school and why? They told us about wonderful stories about their education and how important we made them feel. It made me feel good to know that I was in good hands. I am proud to know they all have found success in the healthcare business. Now, these measurements can't all be quantitative, though. We also need to look at qualitative information like student satisfaction, student engagement, and personal growth. Butler students are leaving our institution not only with degrees and certificates, but also are more informed, critical thinkers, and responsible members of society. Thank you.
Mary Martha, we're going to start this next question with you.
Okay.
So don't go anywhere. In your view, what is the overarching value of the college to our county and to the region?
Thank you for that question, Phil. I appreciate the opportunity to highlight the significant value of Butler Community College and what it brings to our community. I've witnessed firsthand the positive impact that our college has on our county, both economically and educationally. One of the most significant values that Butler College brings to our county is its robust economic impact. The conservative estimate of over $46 million in total direct economic impact from college operations, employee spending, and student spending speaks volumes about the positive financial influence of the college on our local businesses and communities. This financial contribution ripples through our economy, supporting businesses, creating jobs, and contributing to the overall prosperity of Butler County. When new businesses want to set up business in Butler County, they are excited to know we have a community college to help train and educate their workers. Now, speaking of jobs, Butler Community College is the largest employer in our county. That means that many of our friends and neighbors are gainfully employed by the college, ensuring that they can provide for their families and contribute to our local economy. The stability of these jobs helps create a resilient community. Butler not only provides employment opportunities, but also attracts skilled professionals to our communities. In addition to boosting our local economy and providing jobs, Butler is also a responsible steward of taxpayer dollars. Our mill levy tax, lower than it has been in nearly 40 years, showcases the college's dedication to providing quality education while being mindful of the financial well-being of our citizens. Lowering the mill levy by 38% over the last 6 years and reducing the tax request by over $2 million underscores our commitment to fiscal prudence and supporting our local taxpayers. And I want to stress this point. We did not exceed revenue neutral rate as quoted by my opponent. The importance of a strong local community college in the long-term economic development cannot be overstated. Butler Community College is the second largest community in Kansas, and it's a point of pride for our community. Despite our size, we have maintained the second lowest mill levy among the 19 community colleges in the state. And this is a testament to our efficient use of resources and commitment. Our legislature has not kept their end of community college funding. If they had funded us, SB 345 is the law, we would have gained an extra $36 million in 20 years. Thank you.
George, you want the question again?
Yes, sir, I appreciate that.
In your view, what is the overarching value of the college to the county, Butler County, and to the area, to the region?
Yeah, so on a personal level, I appreciate the college because I can hire the students who are going to school there. Whether it's fence or wrangling calves, it's always beneficial to have the students that are working towards their HVAC certification or plumbing. I look forward to educating and training my own children here in Butler, and the college helps equip them for their future. I think a lot of businesses do love the community college. I wish more of those businesses would be in Butler County and help contribute to those taxes. At the state level, the legislature is never going to do anything. This is a local issue, not a state issue. You're not going to get the supermajority of Republicans to vote to increase their mill levies on their own citizens for our community college that we volunteered for in the early 20th century. It's never going to happen. The state's never going to do it. So I think it's an extremely awesome boon to have and to be able to send our children there. Thank you. But the state's not going to do it. Thanks.
Okay. Forrest?
So I guess I look at this, you said overarching value, I look at it as twofold. And I'll try not to echo too much of what Mary Martha said, although our views are very much aligned on this issue. You can look first at the economic benefit. Mary Martha was alluding to a study that was done from an independent organization back in 2019 that found the direct economic impact that Butler College provides to the county is about $46 million. That's between money that Butler spends within the county, money that Butler students spend when they're in the county. That's recognizes about half of Butler's full-time and part-time employees reside in Butler County. And for District 3, where I represent, which is El Dorado and the communities to the north, a ton of our El Dorado campus employees reside here in El Dorado. So that's a benefit that's directly benefiting our local economy. And it's being done economically. My opponent tonight said taxes stayed the same or gave up or gone up. I don't know what numbers he's looking at. I've got the mill levy numbers right here. You can look at them. They're publicly available. Our mill levy in the 4 years that I've been on the board has gone down 30%. We haven't increased at all. We've been revenue neutral for the last 2 years, and in fact, this year we just passed a budget that was below revenue neutral. We actually gave money back. So by revenue neutral, what that means is we're essentially not accepting any of the valuation increases. So when you know that property taxes in El Dorado, when they went up in the last year on average, I think the median was 15% was residential property increase. If the mill levy stays the same, you're going to pay 15% more. Well, what we did was we backed that 15% out of the mill. So we're taking the same amount of money. In fact, this month we took about $170,000 less than what we did last year in tax money. So it's just flat out false to say that taxes have been the same or much less that they've gone up. So the other component to value that I see is the value to Butler County students. We have articulation agreements with every high school in the county that provides a smooth pathway for them to take courses on site at their high school for college credit. There's 5 classes that are approved, they're core educational classes, 15 hours, that students can take for 0 tuition. All they have to do is pay the fee for it. That's a benefit that we're providing, that's value that's being provided to the Butler taxpayers, and in this case, not just the taxpayers, it's all the Butler citizens, because whether you pay property taxes or not, your students, your kids have a right to take advantage of those benefits. We've also got early college academies ingrained at several of the high schools, and we're the only community college in the state to have early college academies. Those give kids the opportunity to not only graduate with their associates, they graduate with their associate's degree at the same time as their high school diploma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a different approach than what has been brought up. I'm looking at the value of college, and I see a number of areas where Butler has great value, particularly to the students. The choice of Butler versus the university depends upon your overall plan for higher education. And there are many benefits to beginning your education at Butler. You can complete your education in a vocational field in a very short time. Or you can save on tuition costs by fulfilling your general education requirements here rather than going straight to a 4-year university. Academically, students learn just as much here as in a university, but classes are much smaller, allowing for more individual interaction and constructive discussions. With lower tuition, Butler is much more affordable, about half that of a university. But Butler students also save money by living at home. Also, Butler offers students flexibility, something they don't get in a 4-year college. This is ideal for students with jobs or families, as was mentioned earlier. One can schedule around work or raising children if they're in that situation. Flexibility of the schedule is not something that's found in most universities. For those wanting a higher degree, Butler offers a path to a 4-year college while avoiding a good chunk of student debt, something that we hear a lot about today. And even if you stop here, don't go any further, the payoff of earning an associate's degree or a vocational certification here at Butler is considerable. Studies have shown that the median average salary of a full-time worker is about $8,000 more for someone than for someone who has not gotten an associate degree or a vocational certification. So when the question about the value of the college comes up, I'm looking at what Butler is doing for those students and helping them get jobs that are meaningful and pay well. That's the value of the college.
Okay, thank you, sir. George, we're going to start this next question with you. Butler Community College will be celebrating its 100th birthday or anniversary here in a few years, although it's had some other names along the way. What do you see as the future focus of the college? What does Butler Community College look like in 10 years?
Well, I think the community college in 10 years looks like a community college that's main ROI is focused on Butler. I mean, there's lots of ROI market studies. You can do it based on marketing. You can do it based on profitability. And I see the college in 10 years being highly focused and high positive ROI for Butler County residents. I mean, once we get there 100 years ago, Butler was almost entirely fueling a world war with its fuel. And I see us being bigger and having more roofs and having more families in the county, having a wider tax base, and seeing all ships rise.
Thank you. Mary Martha?
Repeat the question,
Of
please,
course.
Bill.
Butler Community College will be celebrating its 100th birthday here in a few years. What do you see as the future focus of the college, and what does the college look like in 10 years?
I firmly believe our college's mission as an open-door institution that inspires and prepares students for lifetime success through innovation, affordable, quality education is not only essential, but also aligned with the values which have made all of us successful. I see that continuing. I recognize that there are differing viewpoints within the board regarding the college's future, with some advocating program cuts and a narrow focus on Butler County students. While it's vital to ensure this, the long-term viability and success of our college, I firmly believe that our mission to serve all students who come to us, even those outside of the county, is crucial to our continued success. Something we all need to understand is the presence of out-district students contributes significantly to our college's vitality and capacity to provide programs that support local workforce needs in critical areas of growth. When we look at out-of-district enrollment, it's clear they are drawn to programs that we offer, such as nursing, business administration, allied health, information technology, behavioral science, education, and engineering manufacturing. These programs thrive in large part because of the participation of these students. If we eliminate or hinder the opportunity for students from outside Butler County to enroll, it will negatively impact the sustainability of these valuable programs. My vision for the future of Butler is centered on innovation in teaching, learning, and working. I believe we will see different class sizes. I think more will go online. And it's going to be a different look here the more years that we get into this. With more than 60% of our students part-time, we must continue to create pathways that allow them fast-track their education, such as credit for prior learning, apprenticeships, and internships that provide credit toward degrees and certificates through on-job training. In conclusion, my vision for Butler's future is one of continued leadership in higher education. This includes outstanding academic programs, thriving athletic and fine arts programs, vibrant student organizations, and a strong commitment to community service. By embracing our mission as an innovative, affordable, and accessible institution, we are welcoming students from beyond our county. We can continue to provide and enrich educational experiences that prepares our students for success in an ever-changing world. I believe this is the path to ensure both our short-term viability and long-term excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Forrest?
So I don't think I guess would you repeat the question, focus on action?
Of course.
Parts.
What do you see as the future focus of the college, and what does the college look like in 10 years?
Okay, I think the first question is easy to answer, the second one, not so much. I don't think there's any doubt that the focus of the college has been, currently is, and will always be the students. That's what we're here to do. We're here to support the students. That's in the middle of our mission statement. It's at the heart of our 3-year strategic plan that we renew every 3 years. That will always be the case. Now, what the college looks like in 10 years is harder to predict. As Mary Martha said, the learning environment is changing. Just what we've seen since the pandemic, I mentioned this a little bit before, but I don't think it was pandemic driven. The focus of students is different now than it was before, and we have to continue to adapt to provide learning opportunities that meet them where they want to learn, and that may be a little bit different. But we also have to recognize that we're at a decision point now in terms of whether what path the college takes. And I'm not making this about my opponent, but I think it's important to point out that there is a fundamental philosophical difference between the folks that are running for this position in this election. And the group that my opponent belongs to wants to shrink the college. That is the net effect of what they want to do. It's guised in property tax reductions, but they want the college to be smaller. They want to pull out of Sedgwick County. They want to alienate Sedgwick County students. Now, it's arguably for the benefit of Butler County students, but as Mary Martha said, the Sedgwick County students represent about 78%, out-of-county students represent about 78% of our enrollment. And on one level, you think, well, it's Butler Community College. Why are all the Sedgwick County kids coming? Well, those Sedgwick County kids, their tuition, the state aid that we get based on their tuition, is providing all the programs that are benefiting Butler. We have the premier institution that we have right now because they're helping to pay for it. And if you pull back and you cut them out, yes, we've now got a college that might be, it's just focused on Butler, but it's going to be a whole lot smaller. It's not going to be able to provide Butler students with the same level of benefit and education as they get right now. And that's the question we have for what happens 10 years from now.
Thank you. Mr. Powell, what do you see as the future focus of the college? What's it look like in 10 years?
Well, first off, I agree that our mission is to help students acquire the skills they need to be successful in today's job markets. I disagree in what was just said about what I want to see. I don't want to see the college shrink. I want to see it grow. With the implementation of some of my ideas and the addition of additional vocational certifications, which seems to be the driving impetus for a lot of kids coming out of high school. They want to have something that they can go to work at and make money at today instead of 4 years down the road. The idea that the community college was simply there to be a feeder for the universities is kind of old school. And I'm an older person, so I know what old school is all about. I believe that we can change enrollment. The direction that we've seen over the past 4 or 5 years, we've lost 25 to 27% of our enrollment in that period of time. And again, there's a reduced pool of students, but we're not really going after everybody that's out there. I would like to see our faculty, our staff, going out to all of these schools, not only in Butler County, but in surrounding counties, and promoting Butler County Community College as a destination to go to, that they can get the certifications that they want, that they can get the stair step to a four-year college that they're looking for in some instances. But again, vocational seems to be big attraction for a lot of schools out there. We want to put in place programs that students want and need for them to move into today's job market and in the future. If we expand in that direction, I see Butler County Community College growing drastically over where we have seen reductions. We're losing to the competition out there, and it is competition because we have a smaller group of people that we're trying to get to come to us. I don't want to see us decline or I want to keep Butler as a vibrant, growing source of success that we see in the future, that the students coming here can see as a future for what they want. I want Butler to be a tremendously large college in a few years.
Okay, thank you. Last question. An important one. One of the characteristics of any successful board is each member's ability to work collaboratively to affect other board members to achieve other positive outcomes. Tell us how you will add value to the Board of Trustees if elected. Forrest, you're first.
So I think the value I bring is I'm not an educator. I mean, we have a strong educational background on the board, and that's wonderful. I'm not. I bring a different perspective, a different look at the issues, and that is not at all meant to disparage educators, not for 1 second. But the view is different. What we need is, and I think there's a level of respect that we need to have in interpersonal communications with one another, and that supports collaboration. And when the respect level goes away, the ability to have productive, collaborative discussions is significantly hindered. We've promoted over the last 4 years that Mary Martha and I have been on the board. We've separated our work sessions from the board meetings to be able to have, it used to be the board meetings ran from 4:30 until late at night because the work session followed the board meeting. So you had, I think, the focus of the work session may have been inhibited by the fact that you'd already been there for several hours doing the board meeting. So we moved those work sessions to a different time frame, a different day, which I think helps us to focus on the issues at hand. We've brought in outside sources from national agencies, the trade group that's the community college is a part of has helped support and facilitate discussion amongst the board of trustees to try to find common pathways. And you're not going to have all. I mean, we bring 7 different viewpoints to every issue, and we're aligned on some, and we're not going to be aligned on all. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But we ought to be able to have a productive discussion, even though we don't all necessarily agree with what the answer would be. And some of those workshops that we've done, and that I would propose that we continue to do periodically, help to try to bridge some of those gaps. But above all, it's respect. It's dealing with one another respectfully, and I pride myself on that having been a focus in the 2 years that I've been board chair, and would hope that I get the opportunity to not serve as board chair, but to continue to serve on the board. Thank you.
Thank you for it. David, one of the characteristics of any successful board is each member's ability to collaborate effectively with other board members to achieve positive outcomes. Tell us how you will add value to the Board of Trustees if elected.
Well, it's a good question, one that I don't think is hard to answer. Having had a lot of experience in business and working with people in the sales area, you have to be able to talk to them about things that make sense to you and to them. But, you know, we're also in a situation where we're elected by the people out there that we are working for. And if we don't represent those people and their views and express those views at the board meetings, then we're not doing what we were elected to do. So it's important that everybody understands that when we're making a point, it's because that point has been brought to us many, many, many times, and we need to make sure that it comes across to the other people on the board. There's many areas where common sense should be a deciding factor, but again, I haven't been to any of these meetings, but fortunately they're all recorded, and so you can go back and look as many years back as you want to, practically. And I've seen it's kind of our way or the highway type situation where there's too many votes that are 4-3 or 5-2. It's not a collaboration issue, it's more of an issue where people are trying to get everybody to understand that they're speaking for the people they represent. Budget is part of that, a big part of that. Another big part of it that I think was extremely sad to see is something that went back to changing the way the games have been played. I reviewed notes from a 2022 meeting where information was requested and it was slow walked to the people that were asking for it. You slow walk it by saying it takes time to prepare what we need to be accurate. Maybe it's something we consider sensitive information, but I believe any report presented to the board at a public meeting should be public information and immediately available to the public. The newspaper shouldn't have to say they're going to do a FOIA request in order to get information that's presented at a public meeting that should be public record. Thank you.
Thanks, David. All right, Martha. One of the characteristics of any successful board is each member's ability to collaborate effectively with other board members to achieve positive outcomes. Tell us how you will add value to the Board of Trustees if re-elected.
Thank you, Phil. As trustees, it is our responsibility to serve our community and support the mission and vision of the college. With that in mind, making decisions based on available facts, voting our honest convictions, and upholding the final majority decision of the board are fundamental to our role. We are here to represent the best interest of our students and our community, and that responsibility should guide our actions. The Higher Learning Commission, and I will refer to it as the HLC, we had reaffirmation of accreditation in July 2023. They affirmed us for another few years, but it's a significant achievement that demonstrates our dedication to meeting or exceeding the highest educational standards. This accreditation ensures that our students receive a high-quality education and that their degrees and certificates are respected and recognized nationwide. Well, we had a hiccup in that report. The Higher Learning Commission watched several of our board meetings. They observed behaviors of certain trustees which were unpleasant to observe. We got written up for this negative behavior, and now the trustees as a whole have to write a report back to HLC how we will fix this problem. We need to become a collaborative board where decisions are respected. We must agree to disagree and not tear one another down. You know, I'm gonna stop right there because that's the meat of
Very
it.
good. Thank you very much.
You bet.
George?
Yes, sir. So I would agree with Dave, and I think that the transparency is key. The elected officials are the voice of the people, and we don't need quorum requests. So whether it's the books or going into executive session or whatever it needs to be, there's very small portions. I think transparency and being the voice of the people is pretty much encompasses that whole issue. That last part of the question, what do you bring? Butler County is an ag county, and I'm an ag guy. So, there you go. Thank you.
Very good. I'll now ask each of you to give a 2-minute closing statement. And George, we'll start with you.
All right, well, I don't need 2 minutes. I appreciate all your time. Thank you, Chamber. This has been great, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we all have different opinions on a few things, but I really want what's best for Butler County. I want to raise my kids here. I want them to stay here once they're done being educated, and I don't want to export them to a different state or county. I do want to lower property taxes, and I do want the college to thrive. I want to increase private funding and decrease public funding. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Mary Martha?
I appreciate you all being here tonight. I do want us to remember that the state of Kansas is responsible for funding community colleges. They have not done it in 20 years. As my opponent said, it's down the drain. No, we need to lobby Senator Mike Fagg, Representative Will Carpenter, Representative Christy Williams, and ask them to fund our community colleges. In 20 years, we have lost over $36 million. Now folks, that's a lot of money. So I want us to get active with the community and start charging up to Topeka and say, then change this. Change this for the betterment of all of our community colleges here in Kansas. I am excited and I am thrilled to be up here representing the Butler County, and I think competition is good, so I'm glad to see David and George running. We do have different views, but I respect them. That's one thing we all need to learn how to do, is respect and honor each other's opinions. I ask for your vote. I'm anxious to do another 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. David?
Again, appreciate the fact that the chamber put this together and has had us all up here to give our views. I visited with many people, a lot of whom I taught years ago, and actually coached their grandkids. That's why I got out of coaching. I just couldn't see going much further after 35 years. But every one of them is saying our taxes are too high. And so that's why it had become a priority with me. Are there places where we could cut at Butler? Yes, there are. There's some, again, throw money at it attitudes to correct the problem. Our advertising should be coming from us to the people and not paying $500,000 out for something that has generated no success. The mill levy, yeah, it's come down, but so has the valuation has gone up, so it's really kind of a wash. When I look at my property tax bill, it just makes me shiver. I own property out in the country where I live. I think I bring a different perspective. I think I bring to the board some ideas that will help us grow and change the direction it's going. We do need change in the direction that it's going right now. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Forrest?
Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for those that are either watching live or will be watching on the recording. I appreciate you taking the time to to learn more about these issues, and would encourage you to keep learning, keep asking questions. Don't take what someone says at face value, because oftentimes statements that are made, as we saw this evening, that are just flat out incorrect. And if you don't look into it, you won't know that. The college is not broken, and anyone that tells you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. Are there things that we can do better? Absolutely. Like any organization, you can always, constant improvement should be our goal, and at Butler Community College in the 4 years that I've been on the trustees, that has been the goal, and I hope that you will allow me 4 more years to continue that goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Forrest, and thank you all for coming this evening and sharing your thoughtful statements and answers to our questions. And thank you to everyone who attended this evening's candidate forum, or you who watched on TV. Please remember to vote this November. And from City Hall, right here in El Dorado, Kansas, good night, everybody.